I'm going to dive in and we're going to go over the new legendary unit here. And let me know if you can hear the sound okay, but pretty funny sound effects there. So as we go through, BARD is a legendary card. He can act as a DPS unit. So damage is decently high just for a level 7 unit. As we come into here, he is a Kingdom of Light unit. And I'm still learning all about this, so don't think that I'm an expert here. But you can see, not only is he a DPS unit, but has the potential for armor destruction. There's different ricochets, so it can act as sort of like an AoE unit where there's area damage. Attack speed is pretty quick. We'll show that in some of the gameplay here if you haven't already seen that. But hey YouTube, what's happening? As we go through here, let's double check and see talents. So we're going to go through an upgrade. We'll play a match if we can find one. Just showing what it's like as a level 7, level 9, level 11. So without any talents, let's go hop into a game there. And then what we'll do is as we upgrade, we'll focus on each of the talents. Maybe what we'll do initially is just read through each of them, and then we'll learn more about them as we test them out here. So, info here for Bard. If there is no Harmonist on the field, one will appear at the next Bard's merge. The maximum number of Harmonists will increase at 75, 150, and 300 inspiration levels. We'll talk about what those inspiration levels mean. The Harmonist will increase... the Harmonist increases his damage by 3% for each rank. The bonus increases in proportion to the number of bards with a lute, but does not exceed 84%. So you'll notice some bards will appear with an accordion, some bards will appear with a lute. Hey, how's it going, Kaz? Welcome, welcome. You can teach us how to play Bard, because I'm still learning, but I know you've been watching other streams. Okay, so that's left level 9 talent. Let's go right level 9 talent. Bards at the edges of the field will become drummers. While in attack mode, drummers gain inspiration for monsters in the area around them without spending mana, but the accumulation rate is greatly reduced. Also, the armor of monsters in the area is reduced by 2% per drummer's merge rank. In music mode, gaining inspiration is greatly accelerated but consumes mana. Okay, so with this unit, there's a really unique feature about Bard. He can toggle back and forth instead of having like a mana upgrade or a mana ability. The ability that he uses toggles back and forth between an attack mode or, you know, either of these types of modes. So he can either be attacking very quickly, we'll see that, or when we switch into the other mode, into music mode, he's gaining inspiration in either of these talents. We'll see it'll increase, and that's where he's gaining the inspiration levels in music mode versus attack mode. Okay, so that was right side, level 9 talent. Level 11 left side, after receiving inspiration level 1, a random bard afflicted with a negative effect has a 10% chance to be cleansed of it. So this cleanse is a little bit different here. After receiving inspiration level 1 versus right side, the bard receives a 3% bonus inspiration if a boss is on the field. So there's no cleanse with that one, but the cleanse on this one, whereas on other, let's say, unit abilities, or if a negative effect lands on, say, like a demon hunter. A demon hunter has like, what, a 50% chance or 30% chance of cleansing it. I'm trying to remember now, 25 something. It's changed over the past almost year. But here we have a random bard afflicted with a negative effect, which has a 10% chance to be cleansed of it after receiving 1 inspiration level. My camera's freaking out again here, huh? What is its deal here? I don't know. Is it 20% now? Okay. Good to know. Let's redo this here real quick. Freeze my face. Come back here. See if this can fix it just for a minute. If not, we'll see. But that's also not... Wow, there's a close-up of my face. That's what you guys wanted to see. We're going 30 frames. Can we back up a sec here? Okay. Thank you for going on this journey with me. You get the close-up of my face. What's up, Epi? Cleanse talent for Bard is better than someone might think. Yeah, even with it only being 10%, I would say after receiving inspiration level 1, which isn't hard to do at all, there's a 10% chance to be cleansed of it. So essentially, like, anytime you're switching into music mode then, where you're gaining inspiration, we'll figure that one out for sure. But okay, camera's not freaking out yet, but it probably will in the next little bit. Left talent level 13, Hymn of Vigor. Grants a temporary attack speed increase of 20% for 10 seconds after leaving the music mode. So this is something you'll probably want to do to push back the wave of monsters on the path when it builds up, as well as right before the bosses come out. You'll want to switch back into attack mode. So 20% increase of attack speed is big. Aria of Power, which is right side. Every level of inspiration received in the music mode increases the bard's critical damage by 6% for 10 seconds. The maximum bonus is 30%. Okay. So there's a pretty high chance of crit there. And I'm not sure which is better right now, so we'll be testing back and forth between those. And you get like 5 inspiration every 3 seconds. Yeah, it does require mana though, right? So if you're out of mana, it's really difficult to get inspiration. I would love to see where that specific stat is. So attack mode or music mode. Music mode, bards are spending mana to accumulate inspiration. Does it say how much they're spending though? So they do not attack in music mode. Inspiration accumulates and increases its level. The bard's damage increases in proportion to the level of inspiration accumulated while in the music mode. When the amount of mana falls to 100% of the summoning cost, the process of accumulating inspiration slows down by a factor of 20 and no longer requires spending mana. So that's probably what you want to be at once you get to that point, huh? After inspiration level 300, the damage bonus is reduced to 0.4%, but it's not hard to get above 300, like, at all. Okay, we already talked about Aria of Power on the right side here, which is more critical damage versus attack speed. And then down here, just to clarify here, Epi, yes, critical damage by 6% for 10 seconds, not critical chance. So, that's really big then. So Aria of Power may be the option to go. Attack speed is fun to see how quickly it can just like take back the wave. But Aria of Power, we'll touch on that one here as we test it out. So level 15 talent, after attaining inspiration level 300, the bard when firing has a 4% chance to create a chaotic clump of notes that will inflict 100% of Bard's damage in an area. Damage dealt by the clump is guaranteed to be critical. So that's huge too. 100%. 100% of Bard's damage. Yeah, that's a big increase. And the thing is, like, you, of course, it's not hard to get above 300, first of all. But also, like, the cooldown here, inspiration cooldown is really quick. So, like, you can keep toggling back and forth between inspiration, between music mode and attack mode. There's not a giant cooldown there. So, let's go read over Fortuna here real quick. Damage per charge, 0.67%. Generate mana, which is a big thing here. So with her being a legendary hero, the biggest difference is the mana generation. You get Zeus, which obviously can level up based on his tiles. Necromancer, which can basically lock down, and there's some updates on Necro we'll touch on too, but Necromancer locks down people's boards. We're all too familiar with that. The outside tiles basically locked out, can't use those. One of the updates on that though, before we jump into here, the tiles on the outside, though they can still be locked out or locked down, however you want to phrase that, people can still merge them around. I think that's one of the updates. So now, instead of waiting till the Lich has passed by, I think you can still now have the ability to move them around. There is a higher chance on some of the other ones. We'll touch on that here, but some of the other abilities. But as of now, let's focus on Fortuna here. Okay, so big thing here is deck placement or unit placement within the deck composition. So the unit in the deck's first slot becomes Fortuna's chosen. So you'll see that it's highlighted. If you noticed on the last game, it's highlighted in pink. Tosses a coin at the chosen unit. So that's why it is important for whichever unit you want to become Fortuna's chosen to be in the first deck slot. Then the coin bounces onto a random tile. If a chosen unit is hit, rebounds again, but no more than 3 times. Hitting a chosen unit gives gives a fortune charge. I'm gonna get mixed up with these names here. That increases the damage dealt by all units. The maximum number of charges is limited. All charges over the maximum are doubled, but expire after a time. If a chosen unit is not hit, the coin gives mana, depending on summoning cost, and leaves a lucky tile behind. If a coin or chosen unit enters this tile, the tile will vanish and bring a fortune charge, and the coin will bounce again. With every hit of the coin, several regular monsters on the path die. So not only is it giving a potential tile for mana if it doesn't hit a unit on the board, it's also giving charges. So maximum charges are at 40, and it is killing 4 monsters for every bounce, right? For every bounce with every hit of the coin. So that's pretty cool. And that's just the normal ability. That's before, that's from level 1 to 4 then. Okay, let me catch up here. The voice is doing it for you. You're not annoyed by the voice at all, huh? Okay, that's fine. We'll leave it on just for you then. I would still activate it before bosses, like 5 seconds before, to get the mana from the monsters. Yes, good point. Good point. So activating it, because the bonus is for 10 seconds, we've got time. You've got time. So yeah, activating it a few seconds before the wave ends so that you can get the mana from the monsters makes sense. All right, let's look over the level 5 ability here. Calculated plane. We have a 20% increase for critical damage, not chance, but damage again, just so Epi wants us to be clear. And a 5.5% cooldown. If there are 7 or more chosen units on the field, on their field, on my field, whatever you want to say, their critical damage is increased. When a chosen unit appears, the time remaining until the hero's ability may be used again is reduced. That's pretty cool too. So let me read that again. When a chosen unit, so whatever the unit is in the first deck slot, the time remaining until the hero's ability can be used again is reduced. The maximum amount of fortune charges is increased by 10 by 10. So now instead of being 40, 50 is the maximum fortune charges. So that's pretty cool. Okay. Level 10. Up the chances. Critical damage chance, 0.2%. Max crit damage chance, 3%. So here we had critical damage increased by 20%. Now we're talking about the critical damage chance. If the coin has bounced the maximum allowed amount of times, all chosen units have their crit chance increased. The bonus stacks up to a certain limit. The maximum amount of fortune charges is increased by 10. Again, so we're now up to 60 charges total. Up to level 15 here. Incredible luck. Activation chance 12.5%. Amount of coins 3. Stun duration 5. Damage against bosses and mini bosses 1%. So let's talk about that here. When the ability is activated, there's a chance of several coins falling on the field instead of 1. And so in here you could have 3 total coins just bouncing around everywhere. And of the coin shower remaining on the path and stunning monsters. So the 5-second stuns, that's pretty helpful too. Now all bosses and mini bosses on the path lose health every time a coin hits any target. The maximum amount of fortune charges is 10%, or sorry, is increased by 10. So now we're up to 70. Cool. And of course, level 20. Cooldown is now at 60%. Chance of charging 25%. So there's a 25% chance of their ability recharging to that 60% mark, which is huge for any legendary hero. Okay. So a lot to remember.